I spent 4 hours on a fake LinkedIn profile just to see his colleagues. I memorized his lunch routine from Instagram check-ins. I even had a friend apply for a job at his company. All of this was to test if he had boundaries I couldn't break. And what terrified me was this: most men let me. They bent, they apologized, they negotiated away their self-respect piece by piece, but 5 men didn't. 5 men had such unbreakable boundaries that I couldn't touch them. And those 5 men, I respected them more than any man I've ever known. I'm about to reveal the exact boundaries that made me stop testing and start respecting. Because once you understand what makes women respect you, you'll never tolerate disrespect. Again, boundary number 1. The time boundary, the first boundary that stopped me cold, was how he guarded his time. It was as if it were sacred, as if it had immense value, as if giving it to me was a choice, not an obligation. When he said, "I'll call you at 8 p.m., he called at 8 p.m. exactly, not 7:55, not 8:05. When he said, "I'm available until 10 p.m., at 10 p.m., he was done. No exceptions, no negotiations, no just 5 more minutes. Here's precisely how I tested this boundary. It's 10:15 p.m. I call him. He answers, "Hey, is everything okay?" It's past 10. My heart immediately starts racing. Can hear the boundary in his voice. I say, "I just wanted to talk." He replies, "I understand. Let's talk tomorrow at our usual time." And he hangs up. My immediate reaction: pure rage. I stare at my phone in disbelief. My hands start shaking. I call back. It goes straight to voicemail. I text, "Seriously? You're going to hang up on me?" Read no response. I call again at 10:30. Voicemail. I text at 10:45. This is ridiculous. Read no response. By 11 p.m., I'm pacing my apartment like a caged animal. I can't sleep, can't focus. I can't stop checking my phone. Day 1, I screenshot every time he's online, but doesn't text me. Day 3, I'm analyzing his response times with a calculator, looking for patterns. Day 7, I call in sick to work because I'm obsessing over why he won't break his boundary. Day 14, I've lost 4 pounds because I can't eat when I'm this anxious about his silence. How dare he prioritize sleep over me? How dare he not make an exception? Doesn't he know I'm more important than his stupid schedule? But then something psychological happened that research calls the scarcity value effect. His time became precious because it wasn't unlimited. I started planning what I wanted to say during our calls. I stopped rambling because I knew he wouldn't extend past his boundary. I began to respect his schedule because he respected it first. And here's what truly messed with my head. He was more present during the time he gave me, more focused, more engaged, because he wasn't resentful about giving unlimited access. He wasn't exhausted from being always available. He's choosing to be there, not obligated to be there. Most men think being available 24/7 shows love. It doesn't. It shows you don't value your own time. And if you don't value your time, why should she? But here's where most men fail this boundary test. When she pushes back with, "You don't care about me," weak men crumble. They start explaining, justifying, apologizing for having boundaries. Strong men say, "I care about you, which is why I want to be fully present during the time we've agreed on." That response shut down every argument I had because he made his boundary about quality, not rejection. He reframed scarcity as intention. He turned limitation into love. And I had no comeback for that logic. Boundary number 2, the communication. Boundary. Here's the boundary that truly made me panic. He refused to engage with disrespect. Period. When I raised my voice, he lowered his. When I threw accusations, he stayed factual. When I tried to start drama, he disappeared. Not angrily, not dramatically. He just left. Here's the exact moment I realized I'd met my match. I'm having the worst day at work. Okay, my boss humiliated me. In a meeting, my best friend canceled our plans. I feel small, powerless, and angry, so I decide to take it out on him. He walks in the door at 6:30 p.m. I'm already loaded for war. "Where were you?" I snap. "At work. I texted you I'd be home by 6:30. You're always working. You care more about your job than me." I watch his face. Kate doesn't take the bait. "I can see you're upset. What's really going on?" That calm response makes me angrier. I want him to fight back, to match my energy, to prove he cares enough to get emotional. So I say something cruel, something designed to hurt, something meant to make him feel as bad as I feel. Maybe Sarah was right. Maybe you're just not capable of being a real partner. I watch for the reaction, the hurt, the anger, the desperation to prove me wrong. Instead, he looks at me for 3 seconds. Then he says, "I can see you're upset. When you're ready to talk respectfully, I'm here." And he walks out of the room. Not angry, not emotional, just gone. I stand there in shock, my mouth hanging open. I grab my phone and call my best friend immediately. "Can you believe he just walked away from me?" I screenshot our entire text conversation from the past week. We spend the next 2 hours analyzing every word. What does this emoji mean? Why did he use a period instead of an exclamation mark? We dissect 2 sentences like they're ancient texts. Most men would have stayed and fought. They would have defended themselves. They would have proven their innocence. They would have tried to fix my mood. But this man's boundary was simple. I don't engage with disrespect. This creates what psychologists call emotional regulation modeling. His calm forced me to confront my own chaos. When I finally go to find him, he's reading in the bedroom. "I'm sorry," I say. "I was taking out my bad day on you." He doesn't lecture me. He doesn't make me grovel. He doesn't punish me with silence. He just says, "Thank you for coming back. How can we communicate better next time?" That boundary taught me something crucial. He valued himself enough to walk away from toxic energy, even mine, even when he loved me. And that self-respect made me respect him more than any man who would tolerate my worst behavior. Boundary number 3. The emotional labor boundary then. Something even more devastating happened. He refused to be my personal therapist. My emotional dumping ground, my problem-solving service. When I came to him with the same problems over and over, expecting him to fix my emotions, said something that changed everything. "I care about you, but I can't want your happiness more than you do." Then he stopped solving my problems for me. He stopped being my emotional crutch. He stopped carrying my mental load. Here's what this boundary looked like in practice. It's Tuesday night. I'm spiraling about work again, the same work drama for the 5th time this month. I storm into the living room where he's watching TV. I hate my job. My boss is terrible. I'm so miserable. I can't do this anymore. I collapse on the couch dramatically, waiting for him to fix it. The old response I was used to from other men. "You should quit. You deserve better. Let me help. You figure this out. Here's what you should do." His response: "That sounds really frustrating. What are you thinking of doing about it?" I stare at him. "I don't know. You always know what to say? Tell me what to do." He looks at me with those calm eyes. "I believe you'll figure it out. You're capable of solving this." That's it. It's all you're going to say. What would you like me to say? "I don't know. Something. Anything. Give me advice. Fix this. I can't fix your job situation. Only you can do that." I want to scream. So I test this boundary harder. I call him at 2 a.m. because I'm having a breakdown about work, the same work problem again. I want him to stay on the phone for 2 hours, managing my emotions. Him: "I can hear you're upset. Let's talk about solutions tomorrow when you're calmer." And he hangs up. I stare at my phone in disbelief. I call back immediately, straight to voicemail. I text: "I can't believe you just hung up on me when I needed you." Read: no response. I'm furious. My heart is pounding. My hands are shaking. Day 1. I call him with a crisis, the same work. Drama for the 6th time. Day 3. I'm researching articles about emotional availability to send him as proof he's wrong. Day 7. I lose 3 pounds because I'm too anxious to eat properly when he won't carry my emotional load. Day 14. I finally call a therapist. Not because I want to, but because I'm having panic attacks about handling my own emotions. I want him to carry my stress, to solve my problems, to manage my emotions for me, but he won't. And something terrible happens without him constantly fixing my emotions. I have to sit with them. Without him solving my problems, I have to think of solutions. Without him carrying my stress, I have to find ways to process it. The next week, I do something I haven't done in years. Call a therapist. Not because he told me to, but because I realize I need professional help, not boyfriend therapy. I start developing coping strategies instead of relying on his comfort. I learn to sit with difficult emotions instead of immediately dumping them on him. And the woman who emerges from that growth, she respects him infinitely more because he saw my potential for strength instead of enabling my weakness. He believed in my capability even when I didn't. He refused to treat me like a broken thing that needed constant fixing. This boundary forced me to grow up emotionally. And emotional growth. That's the foundation of real respect. Boundary number 4. The availability boundary. Then came the boundary that drove me absolutely insane. He had a life outside of me. A full, rich, interesting life. Hobbies I wasn't part of. Friends I didn't know. Plans that didn't include me. Interests that existed before me and would continue without me. Here's exactly how this boundary played out. It's Friday afternoon. I text him, "What are you doing tonight?" He responds, "Going to the gym, then meeting the guys for basketball." I text back, "Can I come?" His response, "Not tonight. This is my time with them." I stare at my phone. Most guys would have said yes immediately. I try again, but I want to spend time with you. Haim, we're spending time together tomorrow. Tonight is for my friendships. My mind goes to dark places immediately. He's hiding something. He doesn't want me there. He's probably talking about me. He's choosing them over me. I check his Instagram story at 8 p.m. He's at the gym. I check again at 9:30 p.m. He's with his friends, laughing. I screenshot the story and send it to my roommate. "Look how happy he looks without me. Who's that guy in the background? Why won't he introduce me to his friends?" My roommate texts back, "Girl, you're being crazy. Let him have guy time." I can't accept that. I need to be his everything. I want him to choose me over everyone always. I refresh his story every 10 minutes until midnight. Each story shows him having more fun without me. I save every single story to my phone. I zoom in on faces I don't recognize. I analyze the background of each photo for clues about where they are. I even check the location tags of nearby restaurants to see if I can figure out where they went. After basketball, my roommate finds me at 1 a.m. still scrolling through his friends' profiles. "You need to stop this," she says. But I can't. Day 1, I screenshot every single story and analyze the timestamps. Day 3, I'm checking his friends' profiles to see if they posted anything about their night out. Day 7, I drive past his usual gym by accident to see if I can figure out his schedule. Day 14, I haven't slept properly in 2 weeks because I'm staying up until midnight checking if he posts anything without me. Because here's what really happened. He maintained his identity separate from our relationship. He didn't lose himself in me. He didn't make me his entire world. He didn't sacrifice his friendships on the altar of romance. This created something psychological called interdependence versus codependence. Instead of needing each other, we chose each other. Instead of being each other's everything, we were each other's enhancement. When he came home from guys' night at 11:30 p.m., he was happier, more energetic, more interesting. He had stories to tell, experiences to share. He was a fuller version of himself. And that fuller version, I was desperate to be around. Because here's the psychology behind availability. When something is always available, it loses value. When someone has no life outside of you, they become boring. When a person sacrifices everything for you, they have nothing left to offer you. But when someone chooses you from a position of fullness, that choice means everything. His availability boundary taught me that love isn't about possession, it's about appreciation. It's not about monopolizing someone's time. It's about making the time you share meaningful. Boundary number 5, the self-respect boundary. But here's the boundary that completely shattered my reality. He never negotiated his core values. His principles weren't up for discussion. His character wasn't subject to my approval. His identity wasn't dependent on my acceptance. When I tried to change fundamental parts of who he was, he said, "This is who I am. I'm not interested in becoming someone else to keep this relationship." And then I tested this boundary harder than any other. Week 1, I criticized his best friend Jake during dinner. "He's so immature. I don't like how he influences you. You act different around him?" His response, "Jake's been my friend for 10 years. That's not changing." Week 2, I complain about his weekend hiking hobby. "You spend more time on mountains. Then, with me, it's like you're married to nature." His response, "Hiking is important to me. I'm not giving it up." I push harder. "What if I said it's me or the hiking?" Him, "Then you'd be asking me to choose between you and part of who I am." Week 3, I try to change his style. Buy him clothes I think look better. "You look so much more attractive in clothes I pick out." "Trust me, I have better taste." His response, he thanks me for the gift, then continues wearing exactly what he wants. Week 4, during an argument, I attack his values. "You're stupid. Principles don't matter in the real world. You're too rigid, too black and white." His response, "My principles are what make me who I am. They're not negotiable." Week 5, I give him the ultimate test. "Choose your old life with your friends and hobbies and stubborn values, or a real future with me." I stand there waiting for him to cave, waiting for him to choose me over himself, like every other man had done. His response, "I choose being myself. That's not compatible with you, then we're not compatible." I stand there in shock, my mouth open. Every other man had bent. Every other man had compromised. Every other man had chosen me over themselves, but not him. He was willing to lose me rather than lose himself. And you know what happened? I fell deeper in love with him than I'd ever fallen for anyone. 'Cause here's what that boundary communicated. I know who I am. I'm not willing to lose myself for anyone, not even you. That level of self-respect was magnetic, was attractive, in a way I'd never experienced before. I spent the next 3 days replaying that conversation. I choose being myself. Those 5 words haunt me because I realized something terrifying. I've been trying to date a version of him that doesn't exist. I've been trying to create a man who would sacrifice his identity for my comfort. And he refused to become that man. Because if you don't respect yourself enough to maintain your identity, how can I respect you? If you'll compromise your core for my comfort, what else will you compromise? You'll betray your values for my approval. How can I trust your values? This man's self-respect boundary taught me something crucial. A man who knows his worth doesn't negotiate it. A man who values himself teaches others to value him. A man who won't compromise his core for anyone becomes irresistible to everyone. When you hold this boundary, you're not just keeping your identity. You're showing her what strength looks like. You're demonstrating that your love doesn't require self-destruction. You're proving that you're secure enough in yourself to risk losing her rather than lose yourself. And that security, that unshakable sense of self, that's what real attraction is built on. Here's what you need to understand about boundaries. They're not walls to keep people out. They're standards that show people how to love you properly. Every boundary I just described came from the same place: self-respect. These men didn't set boundaries to control me. They set them to protect themselves. And in protecting themselves, they taught me how to respect them. Here's the truth. Most men don't understand. Women don't want to be your entire world. We want to be part of a world that's worth joining. We don't want unlimited access to you. We want quality time with the best version of you. We don't want to be your therapist. We want to be your partner. We don't want you to lose yourself in us. We want to build something with the real you. And we don't want you to negotiate your values. We want to see what you stand for. These 5 boundaries will transform how women see you. Your time becomes valuable. Your communication becomes respected. Your emotional energy becomes protected. Your presence becomes appreciated. Your character becomes magnetic. But here's the most important part. Set these boundaries for you, not for her reaction. Set them because you deserve respect, not because you want to manipulate respect. Set them because your peace matters, not because you want to create drama. When your boundaries come from self-love instead of strategy, they become unshakable. And unshakable boundaries create unshakable respect. Don't negotiate your worth for anyone's comfort. Because the woman who's meant for you will respect your boundaries, not test them. Hold your boundaries. Watch who respects them. Choose accordingly. If you're ready to start setting these boundaries, comment boundary 1 below and tell me which one you're implementing first. I want to see how many of you actually have the strength to hold your ground. But here's what. You need to understand, setting boundaries is only half the battle. The other half is knowing how to use silence as your most powerful weapon when she tests you. My next video reveals the psychological torture your silence creates in our minds. I expose every twisted thing we do when you go quiet, from digital stalking to complete mental breakdowns. Once you see how deep our obsession goes when you stay silent, you'll understand why silence is more powerful than any argument. Watch. Your silence is hurting them more than you think.